Yo guys, so just recently I water fasted for 22 days, and in this video I want to share why. In short, I did it because I was really ill and had been for years and years and years and was just in a terrible state of life, and essentially I wanted to heal my body. And in this video I'm going to talk about a little bit more about my experience and where I came from and what led me to feeling so miserable and needing to fast and needing to utilize this way that nature allows us to heal. And two, I want to explain to people that, if you're watching this video, maybe it's because you're not doing so well. To be honest, so many of us are sick and so many of us have totally given up on modern medicine because it just leaves us at a blank thinking, what do I do? Do I just feel sick forever? And so I want to clear up some maybe questions you have around water fasting and why someone would even consider it. I truly believe it's nature's ultimate healing modality, if not the only real healing modality that we have access to, maybe. But I'll get into that in a sec. Just want to preface, I can't believe I'm here. I did it. I fasted for 22 days. This is going to be a 3-part series. I figure the reason I'm making these videos is because I want to help someone. Like I said, if you're just in a shit situation, you're at the end of your rope and you're like, what do I do? How do I feel healthy again? These videos are for you. And I don't want to undersell it. Like, I think the information I've gained and gathered in my experience through this fast, it could be so valuable for someone. So I'm going to do it in 3 parts. This is going to be why I fasted. The next video will be all about my experience, what it was like fasting for a little over 3 weeks, and also starting to eat again after that, because that's kind of the refeeding period is part of the whole experience. So I'll do a whole video on that. And then video number 3 is where the money is at. And that's going to be on my results, like what actually changed in my physiology and how I've actually healed. And just to give you a little spoiler, like, guys, my results from this fast have been amazing. Like, I can try and describe it. My digestion works. I have solid poops consistently. For the record, I had diarrhea for almost 10 years of my life, and now I have perfect digestion. I don't get bloated. I don't get the refluxy thing. I don't have to run to the bathroom 5 times a day. And my hunger signals are actually working. I feel satiated when I eat. Like, I feel, for years, I would eat and eat and eat. I would eat so much, and I would never feel full because my body wasn't actually getting it. Like, people say you are what you eat. I feel like a better way to say it would be you are what you digest. You are what you assimilate and absorb, and I wasn't doing that. And I guess that's a good place to start as to why I fasted. Look, guys, I was eating like a harvest hand for the last 3 years that I felt really ill. And I'll dive into my story in just one moment. But I was eating like crazy and I wasn't putting on any weight. And upon talking to friends and family pre and post fast saying, yeah, I'm going to water fast for 3 to 4 weeks, they'd always look at me like, Aaron, are you crazy? You're already so skinny. Why would you starve yourself? And I'll define a little bit later the differences between fasting and starving. But that's a great question. And the answer is simple. Like, if you and your body is eating and eating and eating and retaining, clearly if you're not gaining weight, you're still skinny, your eyes are yellow, your face is gaunt, like you're not retaining the nutrients that you're eating, then what's the point of continuing to eat? Like, obviously, yes, I am getting some calories and sustaining my life but the reality is I'm not digesting and absorbing what I'm eating. So I need to heal the mechanisms that do that. Take 1 step back so I may take 5 steps forward. Take a hit, allow my body to weaken so that I have a strong foundation to build from. People always look at you like, or many friends and family have been like, Aaron, you're fat, like you're so skinny. What are you doing? Why are you fasting? You wouldn't say that like if you broke your arm and you put it in a cast, people wouldn't say to you, why are you putting your arm in a cast? Like, it's going to get so weak and the muscles are going to shrink, because people know that it's taking a step backwards to build that foundation and move forward. And so that's why I fasted. I wasn't able to digest food and build up my strength, so I needed to heal that. And the main point of this video is to explain why and how fasting actually facilitates healing. It's not just starving yourself. It's actually going into the most restorative, restive place you can be in, which is how your body heals. There are no fancy lotions, fancy creams. Like, even though your doctors might have failed you, they're trying to help, but they're brought up with a system. We live in a system where we treat symptoms. We treat symptoms. We don't treat causes. No drug, no food, no cream will ever heal your body. The body heals itself when you give it the appropriate environment to do so. You know, look at it. I'm kind of just jumping all over the place, but if you have a blister on your foot from hiking all day, how do you fix it? You just take off your boot. You remove the stimulus that is causing the problem. You don't eat, it's not like, oh, what should I eat to heal my blister? Well, maybe you could rub a cream on it, I guess, but come on. The reality is you just take off your boot, take off your sock, let it air out, give it an environment to heal, and it does so. And I believe fasting is one of the it can't be one of the roots. It is the root of healing any ailment in your body, whether it's heart disease, fibromyalgia, diabetes, a cataract, a broken arm, a blister on your foot. Like, ceasing doing and moving into a relaxing state is when the body goes into its regenerative, restorative, holistic place. It's parasympathetic. The parasympathetic nervous system is turned on and stays on and gets really, really deep. And that is how we heal. And that's why I fasted. I kind of lost my train of thought there. Let me go back and just share a little bit as to how I got to where I am today and why I decided to fast. What was wrong with my body, you could say, and how my body was trying to heal. I did a whole video on this, so I'll link it somewhere if you want to hear the whole spiel of how it started. But I'll give you a quick minute. Put the minute on the clock and go. Many, many years ago, 2014, I was going to fly to Thailand to teach free diving. I got a bunch of intramuscular needle implants. Sorry, guys, censorship, still a big deal. Can't say the words. MMR, typhoid, hepatitis A. To be honest, it doesn't matter. I've spoken with many doctors, and they all confirmed that any of them could have triggered this. And basically, I had a terrible autoimmune reaction. My gut was just super inflamed. And basically, I had the worst diarrhea of my life for 1 to 2 weeks. I had, a fever, classic symptoms, but the thing was the diarrhea. It was like I've never experienced in my entire life. It eventually subsided around 2 weeks, and I went to Thailand. I got my flight, but my gut it was healed like 70 or 80%, and I had a lot of residual health. I was a strong, robust man at that point, and so I was able to bounce back, even though my gut was still tender. Now, landing in Thailand, I didn't allow the final stage of healing to take place, basically. I drank tons of alcohol, ate spicy curries, ate 7-Eleven cheesy 7-Eleven toasties for breakfast every day. Like, I partied like it was my job. And it wasn't a good idea. I had explosive diarrhea for 4 months on the island. And I just figured, I'm in Thailand, it'll go away when I leave. Now, I don't want to blame the entirety of my last almost decade of feeling crap, having the runs, and how much worse it got on those intramuscular needle implants, because I can say with pretty much certainty, had I waited in Canada another 2, 3, 4 weeks, a month, I'm sure I would have healed completely. I was on track. I just didn't quite get there, and then I just hammered home in Thailand, which was a bad idea, but you live and learn. So yeah, I left Thailand after 4 months of explosive diarrhea, thinking, Australia, my gut will be fine here, first world country, woohoo, all right, solid poops, here I come. That was not the case. And the diarrhea, it just never stopped. That was just how I lived. And so for about 5 or 6 years, I lived a completely normal life. If you looked at me, you'd think, Aaron's a healthy, strong, young individual. And little did anyone know, I had diarrhea every single day. If you knew me between 2014 and 2021, I had diarrhea many times a day. And don't get me wrong, I went to doctors, I tried medical avenues, and just to be honest, no one could help. Doctors had no idea what to do, how to treat it. I checked for parasites, I had all my blood work and tests done, but given that I was relatively robust, I never really explored the issue too much, because I was like, well, whatever, party hard, have the runs, but life is good. Anyways, I know I'm definitely going over the minute, but about 3 years ago, as you can imagine it would, my health just tanked. I haven't been absorbing and digesting and getting anything from my food for like 5 or 6 years. I've been depleting my body. And I just crashed one day. I was in bed for a month, and for the last 3 years, I've had basically just your classic fatigue, low libido, low energy, low mood. I'm just a shell of a, or I had been a shell of a man for a long time. And of course, hitting that rock bottom, then you start to really dig, like, I need to find answers to how I can fix this. And I tried so many different things, lots of restrictive dieting, veganism, medical medium, raw till 4, high carb health, eating fully raw for big chunks. I ate fully raw, high fruit diet with some salads for dinner for like 6 months. And a lot of things I tried gave me, I'm not gonna say they healed me at all because they didn't. Quick interjection, guys. I just realized it's probably important I point out that pre-fast, all my experience with restrictive dieting has all been heavily slanted towards vegan and fruit, raw-based style dieting, mostly high fruit, low fat, high carb. And it did in no way heal me at all. It was not helpful at all. But I don't want to throw restrictive dieting totally under the bus, because since my fast, I've been practicing a more ancestral way of eating, a more animal-based diet, as humans have been honestly thriving on for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, and doing really well. So yeah, I don't want to say restrictive diets don't work, because they absolutely can. They're nowhere near the power of, say, water fasting in the right circumstances, but they can still be effective. Even vegan and plant-based can be effective in the sense that it's powerful what you're cutting out. It's not what you're getting so much as what you're cutting out. Anyways, back to the video. The only thing that's helped me in the entirety of this healing journey was about 4 months ago, I discovered water fasting. I fasted for 10 days, and it's been the only thing that had a lasting impact on my digestive health that I actually noticed after, like, wow, this is better than it was. So that's what led me to fasting. Failure of the medical system to heal me, allowing my body to get so sick for all those years because I just was like, whatever, I have the runs, who cares? And then when I did finally crash, trying all these different modalities and coming on fasting. And after fasting for 10 days, which I believe is a relatively short fast, like between 1 and 2 weeks, your body's really adapting into the fast to really deep restorative healing. Again, it's like, you need to fast longer to heal deeper, to heal what you've accumulated for longer. Let's go back to the blister on your foot. If you hike for a day, you might just need to sleep it off and rest the next day and your blister's healed. If you got to hike and trek for 3 months because you're being tracked by a pack of wolves and your blister gets really bad, it's going to take a lot longer to heal. And I think, fasting for 3 to 5 days can be good for acute stuff. If you just have like food poisoning, that's great. Maybe even just a day or two fasting. Fasting a week to 2 weeks is kind of a short-term fast. You can start to get, obviously at 10 days, I did notice some benefits, but they were small. And then anything above 2 weeks, like I'd say 2 to 4 weeks or 3 to 4 weeks is really an ideal time. And that's when your body really deeply cleanses. And that's what I realized I needed. So for my 30th birthday, I thought I'm going to fast for 30 days. I didn't because life kind of got in the way, but the whole experience, 22 days fasting, and then about 7 or 8 days refeeding, getting back up to normal sized meals again, was about a 30-day experience. And so that's why I did it in terms of what I was experiencing. I was, if you're watching this, maybe it's because you're at the end of your rope. You're like, I don't know where to turn. Nothing works. I feel sick and I want to feel good. And that's where I was. And that's how I discovered fasting. So let me get into more about like how fasting is so healing. So, I've kind of gone over it a lot already just by jumping around, but like, it's important to remember that the body food and medicine don't heal the body. The body heals itself. People are only ever really sick. Think about it like this for 2 reasons. You're either malnourished or you're poisoned, and poison leads to injury in the body. You're either malnourished or your systems are injured. For malnourishment, okay, food could heal the body. You're just haven't eaten, and you're actually starving in a real world situation. Eating some food is going to heal you. But in most cases, people have been poisoned by the pollution in our lifestyle. We drink polluted water, eat polluted processed food. We have, I don't need to list all the ways that our life is quite toxic, and we eat diets that aren't suited for our human bodies. Like, it's ridiculous how sick we are in this society. And where am I going with this? And so we're oftentimes poisoned, injured inside, like I was. These intramuscular needle implants injured my body. And so not only was I injured, but then on top of that, I've also been malnourished because my body's not able to absorb nutrients. So I'm kind of both. And what fasting does is it allows for an environment where your body can heal itself. Now, maybe it seems far-fetched to believe that you can heal, like I said, all kinds of things. Heal your lupus, heal your gout, heal your flabby skin, heal obesity, whatever, from fasting. Maybe that doesn't make sense, but if anything should make sense, it's that you can heal your digestive system. Because like I said, like is quite obvious in any situation, all you need to do is remove the stimulus that is aggravating the problem. And in my case, and in so many cases, what is aggravating the problem of your digestion is the food. People have this assumption that if you stop eating, you're gonna die. The reality is you can fast for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, depending on how much flesh you have on your body. For perspective, I usually weigh about 150 pounds. I started my fast at 120 pounds, already underweight. And I already explained why I did that, because obviously I wasn't gaining weight despite I was eating tons of food because I'm not absorbing my food. I got down to 100 pounds and I still didn't have an appetite because my body was still saying, yes, Aaron, we are still using this time away from food to cleanse and heal the systems that haven't had an opportunity. Like, the reality is it was super easy for me to get into a fasted state because every day for the last 3 years when I wake up, I would lay in bed and my intuition would say to me, Aaron, don't get out of bed. Like, just lay here. Don't eat. Just rest and drink water and allow us to heal. And I would always say to my body, sorry, bro, I got shit to do. And I would get up and slave through the day. I got a dog, I got bills to pay, I got stuff I got to do in my life. But actually taking this time to fast, allowing my stomach, my intestines, my pancreas, my liver, so much of what you see in this portion of your body is dedicated to digestion. And it's twofold. Not only are you stopping using it, right, to allow it to be like, okay, we can use this time to heal, but also your body uses up so much energy in the process of digesting. Like, this is why it's so crucial when you're healing other things that aren't even digestion, because taking in food is one side of life. You're either eating or you're fasting. And eating implies taking in energy for a time when you might not have it. It's taking in energy for metabolic activity so you can run and jump and do life. When you stop eating, you shift to the other side of things. You shift from doing to being, from action to rest. And we all know that it's just intuitive. Every resource in our body, it heals when we rest it. And so, twofold, you conserve energy by not digesting to allow yourself to heal. You just live on the tissues in your body. Your body, oh, my light went off. Hold on, guys. Okay, like I was saying, when you go into a fasted state, you're living on the tissues of your body. And depending on how much tissues you have, kind of depends, it dictates how long you can fast for. But the reality is, you can fast for a lot longer than you think. Like I said, I was already 120, from 150, I was 120, and I got down to 100, and I still had no clear hunger signal. And maybe this is a good opportunity to define what fasting actually is, because a lot of people think, and most medical professionals, I think, don't distinguish the difference between fasting and starving. And it's really simple. Fasting is the period between when you omit your first meal and you feel a natural, proper hunger signal. Not something superficial like the next day you feel hungry. I'm talking like a true hunger signal. And the reality is your hunger will subside between 3 and 5 days. By about day 4, I had no more hunger. On day 22, I still didn't have any hunger, just for perspective. And then the starving period is per se when you experience that natural, true hunger signal again, and the point when you die. Because when you're fasting, your body's actually loving it. Your body's saying, yes, you're finally giving me a chance to rest and rejuvenate, and all the cellular damage and inflammation and shit going on in the body, I can finally address it because I have the resources that are all being pooled to just healing, right? But we're intuitive beings. Our bodies aren't going to let ourselves die. Survival is our primal instinct. And so if it ever gets to a point where you've fasted too long and your nutritive stores are fully depleted, you will feel a natural hunger, and that's when you should definitely resume eating. And it's those people that ignore that and go into the starvation period where potentially dangers could happen. But even then, you would still have quite a long time. And just for perspective, like I fasted 3 weeks and was already super underweight, and I had no appetite on day 22. I'd say 95% of people that fast will never get to that period of natural hunger, especially if you're starting a fast with a normal amount of weight on you and you have that to start with. People can fast 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. Like honestly, as mammals, it's been an integral part of our survival as a species to be able to fast. It's built into our DNA. And while our ancestors probably didn't have to utilize it to heal from such miserable conditions because they lived in a much healthier manner and ate food that was meant for humans, which I'll dive into more in future videos, that has totally shifted for me. I'm definitely not a fruitarian anymore. But in the animal kingdom, you see fasting everywhere, whether domesticated or wild animals. Like it's very common, you hear the farmers say, oh, the horse, he's off his feed. When an animal is sick or injured, it's very instinctual that they'll stop eating. It's a very common occurrence that happens. Dogs there's many recorded cases of animals fasting themselves because intuitively they know that they don't need to build up resources right now. They actually need to stop and use their resources for what the resources are there for. They're there for us to draw on when we need to conserve, rest, and heal. It's like we've designed these bodies that can fast to allow us to heal, and yet we forget to utilize this amazing ability, superpower that we have. And actually, it's intuitive in humans as well. You'll notice that oftentimes when you're sick, you don't have an appetite. And people always say, oh, you got to eat your good, nourishing food to keep up your strength. Got to eat that food to keep up your strength. But the reality is your body has tons of strength from all the eating you've already done. And we should listen, we should listen to nature. Our DNA, our intuition is nature. And when we're called to not eat, like I was for years, even though I wasn't listening, we should honor that because our body wants to heal. And I'm not saying everyone needs to fast. Like, why fast? Fast because it's the fastest way to heal everything in your body. When you rest, you heal. Does everyone need to fast? It depends on the severity of your situation. Like, I have a good friend, I think I might have said that in this take. This is my second take, that healed from Crohn's disease. And I think restrictive diets can be very beneficial. It's proven. I've seen restrictive diets work. But I think they only work in the way that they approach a fast. Again, food doesn't heal the body. The body heals itself. So restrictive eating approaches a fast. It limits the burdens of digestion by maybe just digesting something really easy, bone broth or fruit, depending on what you're into, right? And it allows your body less expenditure in digestion, more expenditure in healing. But no matter how restrictive your dieting is, you might as well just cut to the chase and fast and drink water. My results have been insane. Again, that's for another video, but that is essentially why I fasted. to facilitate the healing to happen in my body, which my body just always wants to do. Is it still recording? Yeah. Like, guys, if you're out there and you're struggling and you're like, oh, I've been ill for so long, we all just want to feel good and energetic and wake up, feel happy, have a libido. And that is how nature intended us to live. And I just want you to know, if you're watching this, like, maybe you think you've tried everything and the medical system has completely failed you and other modalities have failed you. Like, you're not at the end of your rope just yet, because your body is always trying to heal. You know, think about the blister on your foot. It's like, no matter how long you hike and insistently blister that foot and it hurts so much, your body's never going to get to a point where it says, nah, all right, fine, blister for life now. It's not. Like, the second you stop and give it a nice environment, it's always going to try and come back. It's literally the law of nature. If it's not dead, it's going to try and recover. And that it goes for you and every ailment you're facing. So I'll wrap it up, guys. That's why I fasted. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. I'm really passionate about helping people. I know what it's like to suffer. And so, yeah, if there's anything I can do to help, please leave a comment. If you're interested in actually someone helping guide you through a fast, please reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram, or if I'm not on Instagram anymore because I'm living in the freedom beyond Instagram, I will certainly leave a way to get a hold of me down below. So find that. Yeah, the next video should be up now on my experience. It was such a roller coaster, incredible experience. So check that out if you're interested. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.